Hey, what is going on, guys? This is CupcakeSmasher here, bringing you another video, and today I want to be talking about what I think needs to be nerfed in the game and what I think needs to be buffed in the game. So there are obviously plenty of cards. I'm going to be going over the ones that I think are the most notable, and I'm going to be showing you some replays I did earlier. These were obviously live attacks, and it's a little bit laggy going in there. I think I was having some connection issues, so they turned out really well for that type of a situation. So those are going to be going in the background, but let's get into this right now. Now, the first proposed nerf/buff is the zap or the arrows. I think either the zap needs a damage nerf or the arrows need a buff. Now, the reason I say this is because if you look in the game right now, I have both arrows and zap level 8. And looking at it, there's only a damage spread of around 70 between them. The zap does about 150. I'm rounding a little bit. And then the arrows do about 220. Again, rounding just a little bit. But that's not a huge gap, especially considering that the fireball does 474. So that's a gap of about 250 between arrows and the fireball. And that's a 1 elixir again. So that's kind of an issue I see, and that 70 hit points is traded off with the zap doing some stun damage. This, I don't think it gives enough value to the arrows. I think it undervalues the zap, especially because of that stun. And I think that the arrows probably should get a damage increase, probably should be around 300 instead of only 220. At my level, I just think they need to be more in between the zap and the fireball to be worth something, or they need to do some sort of special effect like the zap. Doing the stun effect, obviously that wouldn't be as cool with the arrows because that's what makes the zap special. Now, it does have a little bit of a wider range, so that does give it a little bit more effect, but I think they really do need to add something to the arrows to make it worthy of being 3 elixir, or they should just reduce it. Zap, though, I wouldn't prefer it to be a nerf on the zap, but that definitely is one way to solve that issue. Getting on to the next card, I wanted to talk about the Hog. Now, I know a lot of people will be really against this, but it kind of is just gonna come. And the reason is Supercell really takes the nerfs and buffs to change the game. They really want to make it so you can go into battle and face any card anytime, no matter what. So you have to be prepared for anything. Now, at this stage in the game, there are way more Hog users than anything else. Lots of people were complaining about it. I've shown you in videos before. I've played literally 9, 10 or more Hog users in a row, and that just can't be kept up. If that pace keeps up, it's just going to be no fun to play because you're just going to see Hog. You're just going to have to do a counter to a Hog deck, and it's going to become really frustrating. So just based on the use, the Hog is probably going to get a nerf. Now, really all Supercell has to say is like, Hog nerfed by 5% hit points or 5% damage, and I think the damage is really more what needs to be nerfed, especially when it's being paired with a freeze and such, because the freeze does do so much just work. Long-term effects, I don't know. I think it'll be quickly taken in unless there becomes changes to the freeze spell. I mean, you said they're thinking about why the freeze spell's in the game. It's not to freeze troops, it's to freeze buildings. That's how it is in Clash of Clans. Obviously, you can get clan castle troops and stuff, but it's just not the same at all. Now, next one is a big one. That is the Royal Giant. Issues when I have used him is he doesn't seem to actually take advantage of his range very well. This has also been a complaint for the Hog, so if the Hog does get changed, I think this would change as well, is that they're not using their abilities. The Royal Giant is meant to be a ranged unit, and yet when I think there has been 6 tiles of range between my side of the arena and a defense in the center, the Royal Giant just walks around and gets on the bridge and shoots the tower, which is obviously not what I wanted because now their lane tower is also shooting him. So more effective use of the range would be good. I also think a range increase of 1/2 would help tremendously, and what that would do is the Royal Giant is right now sitting at a range of 6. Now, most defenses are also sitting at a range of 6, so that means that the Royal Giant would now be out of range of very many defenses, and that would help him help his usage a ton, because that's what a lot of people are complaining about right now, is that these defenses are really not making the game fun. It's making it hard to play, and if the Royal Giant now has a range of 6.5. He's now starting to outrange, and I think it's actually 6.75, my bad. He's starting to outrange some of these towers, and it would make him immensely useful, and I think it would get his usage way up. Now, if Supercell doesn't want to do something like that, they have to do something else, and I think that might actually become a range decrease, because right now the only thing that outranges the Royal Giant with 6 tiles is the 3 Musketeers and the Musketeer with a range of 6.5, and they don't even use it that well because he's such a big unit, they have to end up swarming around him. So getting it so he's actually a ranged unit, but still is in front of stuff would help out. Other than that, damage and speed, he's a really slow unit. He really needs to speed up a little, pick up the pace. Come on, he's got to hurry through these. Like, he doesn't have all day. So speeding him up would be good. Damage increase obviously would be good, but I think range is really where it comes down to, or obviously a cost adjustment. But if you adjust the range of him, I think that'll definitely be the biggest, most positive change that could come from the Royal Giant. Now, on to one that I would just like to address. Now, there has been some call in the community, and I've seen this specifically on the forums, to move the 3 Musketeer cost down to 8 elixir. Now, I think this is a horrible idea, and the main justification of this was that the 3 Musketeers are a huge risk, because if your opponent has Fireball, they are going to demolish it every time. And I think that's the point, though. Honestly, like, the 3 Musketeers are meant to be a risky unit, but if your opponent, like I do, doesn't bring a Fireball, they're already in trouble. The most cost-effective solution other than the Fireball that I have found to consistently work is to do a Zap Minion Horde, stunning those 3 Musketeers, and then having a Minion Horde just wipe them out. Now, normally that's not what I'm carrying, so I'm using Valk arrows. That's 8, so it's still only gaining me 1 elixir on the exchange, so if your opponent doesn't have Fireball, they're at a huge loss, decreasing the 3 Musketeer cost, although making it less of a risk. I think it makes it too big of an advantage, especially against opponents that aren't carrying the Fireball. I don't know. I think that's a bad idea, and I think it would really actually hurt the game. Guys, last but not least is the Lightning Spell, and I think this one should honestly get a cost decrease. Lightning Spell right now for me does about 260 damage. That's at level 2, so obviously I'm a long way to go from level 8, but that's still, 280 damage on that one. But the Rocket at level 3 already does 330, I'm misspeaking all over the place. 330 damage. That's at level 3, so almost at the same level, and yet Rockets are rare. It has a lot more levels to go. That doesn't make sense that they both cost 6. Obviously, Lightning has the impediment of targeting 6 units. It does have a wider range again, so it can target 2 or 3 towers, but decreasing that cost would help wipe out towers, and I think that would really be a positive change for the game, because the Lightning could be used against SimCity decks. If you're seeing those people don't like the spawner type decks, it could help a lot. If it just decreases a little, you'll be cycling faster. And I don't think it'll be that much of an increase of these turtle decks, because it only does about 200-300 damage. That's not going to be a whole lot in the long run. But guys, I could be wrong, so make sure to tell me in the comments what you think about these changes. Do you think they're positive? Do you think they're negative? But until next time, guys, this has been CupcakeSmasher, bringing you another video.